thanks to all of you tonight for joining us in this holy gathering. As I begin, I just want to highlight the privilege that I've had to partner and work with so many, and now to include all of you in that. I want to share with you briefly a reflection on my time in Palestine in May, as Sister Sierra, Brother Niall, and Olivia were just there. As many of you know, Brother Nelson Mandela is quoted by saying, "We know too well that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinian brothers and sisters." So I want to just share a reflection of one of my days there, and I hope perhaps you can find yourself in this journey with me. It was our very first day in the old city. We took a walk down a road leading from the Dung Gate through the streets of Silwan to the neighborhood of Batn al-Hawa, to the Madah Silwan Creative Center. I know this walk is familiar to a couple on the call tonight. But like many walks in Palestine, it's a difficult trip, physically and emotionally. Walking the steep hill down from the old city, then up the steep steps in to the Batn al-Hawa section of Silwan, we faced the dichotomy of one of the world's superpowers, oppressively wielding its might in its entirety by means of 24-hour surveillance, military patrols, settlers moving in, daily threats of home demolitions, upon a people with little or no worldly power, but whose very existence resists and challenges the evils put upon them. As we walked from the old city to Silwan, three intertwined images stayed with me, and I hope might resonate with all of you today. At the beginning of the walk, you witnessed the presence of the Israeli apartheid forces at work. You see the soldiers and the surveillance cameras all over, which serve as a reminder that the people of Silwan are always being watched by men and women with weapons of war. The people are not free in so very many ways, and they are being watched by their occupier 24/7. Secondly, as you make your way down the hill, you will begin to see in the distance, painted on the houses of Silwan, much like the eyes on the altar of our service tonight, murals of eyes of local and international leaders, activists, freedom fighters, martyrs. These eyes communicate to the people of the world, namely the empire, that Silwan sees them and that they should see Silwan too, and know that they are still there and that they're not going anywhere, and that their love for their land and their home will never end. Many of those eyes are from those murdered by police, military forces within Palestine and throughout the world. Some of those eyes are on our altar tonight. Yad al-Halak, a young autistic man murdered by the Israeli police on his way to school. George Floyd murdered by Derek Chauvin, who knelt on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Others include Rachel Corey, an American student who was run over by an American-built bulldozer twice as she tried to prevent it from destroying the home of a Palestinian family. And others like Palestinian intellectual novelist, playwright Ghassan Kanafani, who was assassinated by Israel in July of 1972. It is powerful to stare into these eyes and know the stories of their lives and their deaths and their witness beyond death. As it is said, the eye is the doorway to the soul, and with these murals, Silwan is calling us all to see the souls of these beautiful children of God as they represent the struggle, the samud, or the steadfast resistance against Israeli apartheid and all forms of empire. The final image for me comes from the story of the 9th chapter, actually, of John's Gospel, when Jesus heals the man who was born blind. You might know this story. Jesus makes muddy paste with spit and dirt and puts it on the man's eyes and tells him to go and wash himself in the pool of Silwan. In Arabic, the pool of Silwan. That's right. A little further down our walk, we come to the pool of Silwan. To me, the significance of these images is wrapped up in what we see and what it does to us. Do you see what I see? First, we see the worldly power, which constantly threatens the lives of the innocent and the indigenous. I'm sad, so sad and discouraged when I see this. Second, we see the creativity and beauty of a people seemingly without any power, calling the eyes of its oppressor to see deep within their souls. I'm challenged and inspired and brought to the fire when I see this. Thirdly, we see a pool where a man blind from birth, without any power at all, receives his sight. And when I see this pool, I'm encouraged to believe that what seems impossible on the outside is in fact possible. I see that though Israel holds all the worldly power in its hands, the people of Silwan, the people of Palestine, know and live their lives with a power that can never be snuffed out. Like Sister Sonia's call to us, the people of Silwan have caught their fire to live. And no empire, no worldly power can ever snuff their fire out. May we be like them. And like Jesus, whose blood was poured out as libation for freedom and healing. Today, we remember and honor those named and unnamed sisters and brothers whose blood was poured out as libation to feed and nourish us and all the peoples fighting for freedom and liberation. Their lives and their deaths, their blood libation is what fuels our fire. The fire within us to live, to love, and to fight for freedom until it comes everywhere for everyone. Let us always remember our sisters and brothers who have laid the foundation for us, that we might bear the flame until freedom comes. Amen.